I died on a Tuesday, choking on the bitter pill of betrayal as the elevator plummeted 47 floors, my screams echoing uselessly against the steel walls. The last thing I saw was Derek's smug face in my mind's eye. His hand on the emergency stop button he'd accidentally jammed, whispering that I'd never see retirement. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business, because when I gasped awake in my own bed 20 years earlier, heart pounding like a war drum, I knew, this time, I'd bury them all before they could touch me. The clock on my nightstand read 6:47 a.m. February 14th, 2005, Valentine's Day. The day it all started unraveling in my first life. My hands, younger, unscarred by decades of keyboard calluses and stress lines, clutched the Egyptian cotton sheets I'd splurged on after that big merger in '98. I bolted upright, the familiar ache of my old Chicago apartment twisting into something sharper, recognition. The faded photo of me and Sarah on the dresser, her toddler grin beaming from a time before she ghosted me for the family that wasn't hers. The stack of love letters from Derek, tied with that ridiculous red ribbon, mocking me from the nightstand. God, I was 35 again, fresh off the promotion to VP at Sterling and Knox, the cutthroat investment firm where ambition was currency and loyalty was a punchline. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing cold water on my face, Zoe Hargrove, staring back with eyes too wide, too haunted for this version of me. The woman who'd clawed her way up from a single mom in the South Side projects to the glass ceiling smashing exec they called the Iron Lady. The one who'd mentored Derek, handed him his first big client, only for him to knife me in the back 2 decades from now. Replaced. Erased. My pension siphoned into his offshore accounts while the board pinned embezzlement on me, forcing that tragic fall from the C-suite tower.
But not this time.
This time, I'd rewrite the script, and the ink would be their blood, metaphorical. Sure. But it'd sting worse. By 7:15, I was dressed in my power armor, charcoal Armani suit, heels that clicked like gunshots on the hardwood. Coffee burned my tongue as I scanned the day's agenda on my clunky Dell laptop, pre-Valentine's brunch with the team. Then the pitch for the Whitaker merger. In my old life, that's where the poison seeped in. Derek, my golden boy protege, had planted the seeds of doubt, whispering to the board about my erratic decisions while he courted Sarah behind my back, turning my own daughter against me with lies about my neglect. Sarah, who I'd raised alone after her deadbeat dad bolted, only for her to side with him in the end, testifying that I was unstable. The secret they'd buried? Not just corporate theft, but the fact that Derek had gotten her pregnant during one of my out-of-town closings, using my absence to weave his web. A family built on my corpse. I slammed the laptop shut. No more playing the long game.
Today,
I'd start the unraveling. First stop, the firm server room. In 2005, cybersecurity was a joke, firewalls thinner than the lies Derek would later tell. I'd always been the tech-savvy one, teaching myself code in late nights while Sarah slept. By 8 a.m., I was in the basement, badge swiping me past the humming racks. My fingers flew over the keyboard, mirroring a backdoor I'd forgotten to patch years ago. Emails, client files, the works, zipped into an encrypted drive on a USB stick I'd bought on the way in. Evidence? I'd plant my own soon enough. But this was insurance. If they came for me, I'd have the receipts. The brunch was at Le Colonial, that overpriced Vietnamese spot in River North where execs pretended to be cultured over pho and power plays. I arrived early, staking out a corner booth with a view of the door. Derek sauntered in at 8:45, all boyish charm and gelled hair, flashing that dimpled smile that had charmed boardrooms and bedrooms alike.
Zoe.
You look radiant. Big day ahead. He air-kissed my cheek, his cologne Acqua di Gio. Same as always, making my stomach churn. Radiant? Flattery won't close the Whitaker deal. Kid, I shot back, forcing a laugh that sounded genuine even to me. We ordered spring rolls for him, bun cha for me, and dove into strategy. He leaned in, eyes gleaming with that feigned eagerness. Your vision on the risk assessment is gold. I mean, who else sees the tax loopholes like you?
Lies.
In the future, those loopholes were the ones he'd exploit to frame me, routing funds through shell companies in the Caymans. I mirrored his lean, dropping my voice. Derek, level with me. Ambition's fine, but loyalty? That's the real closer. His fork paused midair. Just a flicker. Guilt?
No.
Calculation.
Zoe.
You're like a mom to me. Whatever you need.
Mom.
The word twisted like a knife. Little did he know, I'd soon make him choke on it. Sarah called at 9:30. Her voice tinny through my flip phone.
Mom?
You coming home tonight? I made that heart-shaped cake. 5 years old. Innocent as fresh snow. In my first life, I'd missed it for the merger. Coming home to her asleep on the couch, Derek already planting doubts via playdates. Wouldn't miss it. Baby. Love you. I hung up, throat tight. This time, she'd get the mom she deserved and the truth about the snake who'd slither into her life. Back at the office by 11, the pitch loomed. The boardroom buzzed with suits. Harlan Knox, the Silver Fox founder with his perpetual Scotch breath, Elena Vasquez, the HR shark who'd later investigate my fraud, and a dozen VPs circling like vultures. I stood at the projector, slides clicking through projections, $200 million in synergies, market dominance in biotech. Derek flanked me, nodding like a bobblehead. But midway, I threw the curveball. Gentlemen, ladies, this isn't just numbers. It's about trust. I've uncovered irregularities in the vendor contracts. Gasps rippled. I projected a doctored slide, not the real poison yet, but a teaser, inflated invoices from a shell tied to Harlan's golf buddy. Harlan's face purpled.
Zoe.
What the hell? Derek jumped in, smooth as silk. Sir, I'm sure it's a glitch. Zoe's just being thorough. Thorough. That's what they'd call it when they fired me in the future. Right before the elevator malfunction, I met Harlan's eyes. Thorough saves empires.
Harlan.
Or burns them. The room crackled. Decisions hanging like storm clouds. Elena leaned forward, her Cuban accent clipping. This could tank the merger. Controversial? Hell yes, accusing the founder on pitch day. But it planted the seed, doubt in them. Not me. By close of business, whispers followed me to the elevator. Derek cornered me in the lobby, all concern. Zoe. That was ballsy. You okay? I smiled, cold as Lake Michigan in January. Better than ever. Night. Derek. As the doors closed, I whispered to my reflection. Your move first, mine last. That night, Sarah's cake was lopsided perfection. Chocolate frosting smeared on her cheeks as we laughed over rom-coms on VHS. Tucked her in with a story about a fierce queen who outsmarted dragons. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of plummeting steel and Sarah's wedding to Derek flashing like lightning. But morning brought clarity. Phase 2. Dig deeper. Monday dawned gray. Snow flurrying against the loop's skyscrapers. I hit the gym at 5 a.m. SoulCycle hadn't hit Chicago yet. So it was treadmill sprints. Sweat purging the ghosts. By 7, I was at a cyber cafe in Wicker Park, anonymous amid the hipsters nursing lattes. Using my pilfered files, I cross-referenced vendor payments against public records. Bingo, Harlan's shell company, funneled through a Delaware LLC. Not enough for a slam dunk, but threads to pull. The secret? It wasn't just greed, it was desperation. Harlan's wife, battling cancer, racking up bills his ego couldn't cover. He'd confide in me later, in my first life, right before Derek twisted it into my noose. I emailed an anonymous tip to the essay, vague, but pointed. Irregularities at S&K. Check vendor 472. Then, to Elena, a blind copy of the slide, with a note, HR should know. Controversial? Leaking internally while whistleblowing externally? It'd paint me as a loose cannon, but it'd force their hands. By noon, the office was a hornet's nest. Harlan called an emergency meeting, Derek texting me furiously. WDF Zoe? Meet now. We huddled in his corner office, view of the Sears Tower mocking our teeniness. This witch hunt, it's suicide, he hissed, pacing like a caged panther. I sip my coffee, calm as a bomb. Or it's justice. You want the merger? Clean house first. His eyes narrowed, the first real crack in the facade. You're playing with fire. Good. I like the heat. The fallout hit like a blizzard. Elena pulled me aside post-meeting, her bangles jingling like warning bells.
Zoe.
This divides us. Harlan's furious. I met her gaze. Division's what kills firms. Elena. Unity against corruption. That's the win. She hesitated. A flicker of respect? Or pity? In the future, she'd be the one signing my termination, citing disruptive behavior. This time, I'd make her an ally or a casualty. Sarah's school play that evening was a distraction, her as a tree in The Giving Tree, branches waving with toddler glee. I clapped loudest, heart aching at the what-ifs. Driving home through slushy streets, my phone buzzed, unknown number. Back off. Hargrove. Or your little girl's next. Ice in my veins. They knew. Harlan? Derek? No matter. It accelerated everything. Tuesday, I escalated. Hired a PI off Craigslist, ex-cop named Mickey. Grizzled and greedy for $500 cash. Follow Derek Voss. Everywhere. By Wednesday, reports trickled, late nights at a Gold Coast bar, cozying up to a junior analyst named Lila. Lila, the one who'd discover the forged emails in my desk drawer 2 decades hence. The web tightened. Meanwhile, the merger teetered. Whitaker pulled back, citing reputational risks. Harlan blamed me in a blistering email blast. Reckless actions endanger us all. I forwarded it to my growing dossier, adding a voice memo, his slurred confession at the 2006 holiday party, bottle in hand, admitting the schemes for the missus. Buried secret unearthed.
In.
Derek confronted me Thursday, rain lashing the windows as we stood in the executive garage. His umbrella dripped, face twisted. You're destroying everything I built here. Built? On my back. You parasite. You mean everything I built. Derek, the clients I landed. The deals I closed. He stepped closer, breath hot. I made you look good. Now you're making me look bad. The betrayal echoed, deep, personal. In my mind's eye, Sarah's ultrasound photo he'd show me proudly in the future, right after my suicide note hit the papers. I didn't flinch, step aside, or get stepped on. He laughed, bitter. You think you're untouchable? Everyone has dirt. Then dig. Derek. See what you find. As he stormed off, I slipped a tracker under his BMW's bumper, tech from the 90s. But it worked. Friday brought the twist I hadn't anticipated. Nikki's email, photos of Derek not with Lila, but Harlan, huddled in a diner, passing a briefcase. Blackmail?
No, que luchen.
The secret deepened. Derek wasn't just ambitious. He was Harlan's pawn. Promised the throne if he handled me. The elevator sabotage? Their joint masterpiece. With Elena turning a blind eye for a cut of the pension fund. Rage boiled, but I channeled it. That night, I drafted the kill shot, a timeline, emails,
Photos.
all anonymized. Sent to the Wall Street Journal. Sterling and Knox, right at the top. By Sunday, leaks hit the wires. Monday morning, Valentine's again. Full circle, the FBI vans rolled up to the tower. But I wasn't done. Sarah woke me with pancakes, syrup-sticky hugs. Mommy, will you always be home? Always. Kiddo. Lies. Until they weren't. The boardroom was a slaughterhouse without the mess. Harlan at the head.
Ashen, Elena fidgeting, Derek.
Wild-eyed. Pointing at me. She's the leak. Zoe's unstable. Ask her daughter. Sarah? Already? My blood ran cold. But I stood. Voice steel. Call her. Let's hear it from the source. The call connected on speaker. Sarah's teacher.
Confused.
Mrs. Hargrove. Zoe's a model parent. Attends every event. Derek deflated. Harlan wheezed.
Zoe.
Why? Because trust is earned. Harlan. You spent yours on thieves. FBI agents swarmed. Cuffs clicking. Harlan confessed in cuffs. Tears for his wife. It was for her treatments. Elena flipped, naming names. Derek? He lunged at me, snarling. You bitch, this was my future. I sidestepped, watching him tackled. Your future? It was mine. As they dragged him out, our eyes locked.
Sarah.
She'll never know you, he spat. The twist hit like a gut punch. In this timeline, he'd never met her. No affair. No child. The greatest revenge? Erasing his legacy before it stained mine. Weeks blurred. Investigations. Depositions. My name cleared. Sterling and Knox rebranded under new blood. Me as interim CEO. Steering it straight. Sarah thrived. College-bound on scholarships I fought for. Retirement? At 55. On a yacht in the Keys. No shadows. But late nights, the what-ifs whispered. Was it justice or vengeance? Controversial to the end, I'd burned bridges, made enemies who'd wait in the wings. Yet as I watched sunsets with Sarah, now a fierce lawyer herself, I knew, reborn, I'd chosen life. Their empire crumbled, mine, unbreakable. The dust settled, but revenge is a slow burn, not a flash fire. By March 2005, the headlines had faded from front-page scandals to financial footnotes. But the scars? They itched like fresh ink under skin. I sat in my new corner office, Harlan's old one, with its panoramic view of the Chicago River churning brown under spring thaws, staring at the brass nameplate, Zoe Hargrove.
Also.
It felt like armor, heavy and unyielding. Sarah's finger-painted supermom mug steamed with black coffee beside me, a talisman against the ghosts. Derek's trial was set for June. Federal charges stacking like Jenga blocks, wire fraud, conspiracy, attempted murder via that rigged elevator schematic they'd found in his desk. Harlan flipped faster than a politician at a fundraiser, trading testimony for a plea deal, 10 years. Out in 7 with good behavior. Elena, community service and a lifetime ban from finance, slinking off to some consulting gig in Milwaukee. Me, lionized in board minutes as the whistleblower who saved the firm. But salvation tastes like ash when you know the full rot. The buried secret I'd unearthed wasn't just Harlan's desperation, it was a syndicate. Mickey's final report, delivered in a manila envelope at a dive bar in Pilsen, painted Derek as the spider, recruiting juniors like Lila for honey traps, siphoning microfractions from client trades, pennies adding to millions over years. And the crime I'd suffered? In my first life. It was the frame job, forged emails making it look like I'd greenlit the schemes, my signature scanned and slapped on. The mistake they pinned? My lax oversight, code for trusting the wrong people. This time, I'd flipped the script.
But the cost gnawed at me.
Sarah noticed first. Mom, you okay? You space out a lot. We were at Giordano's, her devouring deep dish while I picked at sausage. 9 now, braids swinging, eyes like her father's gone, but not forgotten. Just work. Bug. Big merger coming.
Lie.
The Whitaker deal had imploded. Clients fleeing like rats from the SEC's gaze. I was rebuilding from rubble. Controversial calls stacking. Firing half the exec team, including Derek's cronies. No severance. Ruthless Zoe, the Trib called me.
Fair.
That merger? Biogenics. A scrappy startup in biotech stem cells. Gene editing. The gold rush of the aughts. Their CEO, Marcus Hale, was a wild card, ex-MIT, tats peeking from his collar, pitching revolution over lunch at the Gauge.
Zoe.
You get it, disruption isn't polite. We clicked over bourbon neat. His drawl Texas thick. In my old life, I'd passed on biogenics. Derek had, calling it voodoo science. Now, I inked the LOI by April's end. $150 million valuation. My gut screaming upside. But ambition breeds enemies. Lila Vargas, Derek's ex-flame and current plaintiff in a wrongful termination suit, started leaking memos to Crane's Chicago business. Hargrove's purge, sexism or strategy? The article dropped mid-May, painting me as the ball-busting, harpy-axing women to protect her throne. Controversial? It ignited Twitter. Wait. X wasn't a thing yet. But forums and blogs lit up. Feminists called me traitor. Conservatives hailed corporate cleanup. I fired back in an op-ed. Loyalty isn't gender, it's spine. Circulation spiked. So did the hate mail. Nights. I pored over files in my Lincoln Park brownstone. Sarah asleep upstairs. The PI gig evolved. Mickey on retainer now. Tailing Lila's moves. She was shacking up with a journal reporter. Trading pillow talk for ink. But the real thread? A Cayman account linked to Biogenics' founders. Coincidence?
Hell no.
Marcus had secrets too. Early trials fudged data. FDA whispers. Was I allying with another snake? The tension coiled. Decisions looming, pull out, or dive deeper, risking my rep on a gamble. Sarah's birthday party was my anchor. May 20th. Backyard barbecue, with her school crew. Bounce house wobbling under giggles. I grilled brats, beer in hand, watching her chase fireflies as dusk fell. Best mom ever, she yelled, hugging my legs. For a heartbeat, the weight lifted. But then my phone vibrated unknown. Biogenics is poison. Walk away. Or join Harlan. Threats again. I traced it to a burner, but the message stuck. That night, after tucking her in with Shel Silverstein, I called Marcus. Level with me. Your trial's clean? Silence. Then, Zoe. It's messy science. But revolutionary. Messy. Like my life. Fix it. Or I walk. Controversial push, demanding transparency from a maverick. He agreed, but doubt festered. June brought Derek's arraignment. A circus in the Dirksen Federal Courthouse. I testified. Voice steady. He rigged the elevator. Your Honor. Blueprints altered. Stop button wired to fail under load. Derek glared from the defense table. Shackled. His lawyer spinning, disgruntled employee yarns. The twist? Sarah's name dropped. Fabricated emails claiming I'd abandoned her. Prepping for custody grabs if he'd succeeded. The judge sealed it, but the gallery murmured. Outside. Paparazzi swarmed. I shielded my face. Hailing a cab to the lakefront. Waves lapped Navy Pier as I walked, wind whipping my coat. Betrayal's echo, not just corporate, but visceral. Derek had courted Sarah in my first life, promising stability I couldn't. This time, I'd severed that root. But guilt? It whispered I'd orphaned her from a father figure, even a toxic one. Biogenics due diligence hit snags, FDA audit looming. Investors jittery. I flew to Boston for the site visit, sterile labs humming with white coats. Marcus in scrubs. Eyes alight.
See?
Magic. Data looked solid. Scrubbed clean. But in the hotel bar that night, over oysters and old fashions, he confessed, one trial hiccup, placebo mix-up. No harm. But headlines would kill us. The secret, covered with a $2 mil NDA to a tech. Controversial decision. Bury it. Or blow it wide. I chose middle ground, demand equity kickers tied to clean audits. Plus a whistleblower clause. Trust me to protect you, Marcus, but no more shadows. He grinned, clinking glasses.
Deal.
Iron Lady. Back in Chicago. Lila's suit escalated. Deposition scheduled. Her lawyer a sleaze from K Street. I prepped with firm counsel. A bulldog named Trish. She's bluffing, no evidence. But during the sit-down, in a stuffy loop conference room, Lila dropped the bomb. Audio of Derek and me. Post-brunch, 2005.
Him saying,
Zoe's too soft, we'll handle her.
Doctored?
My blood boiled. That's not me. Forensics later proved it. But the leak hit blogs, CEO in bed with crook? The tension peaked at the July board meeting. Biogenics vote. Aye or nay. Dissent brewed. Old guard loyal to Harlan's ghost. Calling it reckless. I stood. Projector humming. This isn't gamble, it's vision.
Pass.
And we lead the biotech wave.
Nay.
And we fade. Votes split 7-5. My tiebreaker. Controversial to the bone, pushing a tainted deal through a fractured board. That night, victory scotch soured when Mickey called, Lila's reporter boyfriend, tied to a rival firm, Meridian Capital, sniffing biogenics. The web widened, Derek's cronies pulling strings from inside. Retaliation. Sarah's summer camp drop-off was bittersweet. Camp Chippewa, canoes and campfires. Miss you, Mom. 2 weeks. Bug. Letters every day. Driving back. Tears blurred the highway. Alone. The plan crystallized. Strike Meridian first. August heatwave baked the city as I greenlit Operation Eclipse, my pet project, a forensic audit of competitors. Hired hackers, ethical, pinky swear, to scrape public data, cross with insider tips from Mickey's network. Meridian CEO, Victor Lang, emerged, silver spoon Yale boy, Harlan's frat brother. The betrayal looped back. Victor had bankrolled the elevator mod.
Betrayal docs.
I invited him to discuss synergies at Alinea, molecular gastronomy, wizardry masking my intent. Over deconstructed Caesar salads. I probed. Vic. Old times with Harlan, any loose ends. He chuckled. Rolex glinting.
Zoe.
Water under the bridge. Not for me. Under the table. My foot recorder captured his slip. Derek was sloppy, but effective. Post-dinner. The audio hit an anonymous drop to the feds. Meridian's turn in the barrel. By September, raids hit their HQ. Victor scrambling. Lila's suit crumbled, her evidence exposed as Meridian planted. She vanished to LA, chasing influencer dreams. But the climax brewed at Biogenics' launch gala. October in Boston Harbor, yacht aglow, champagne flutes clinking. Marcus unveiled the tech. CRISPR tweaks for Alzheimer's. Demos wowing VCs. I networked. Sarah's proud voice on speakerphone. Mom's a boss. Then. The shadow. Victor. Uninvited. Cornering me on deck. You think this ends it? Harlan was family. Family, the word ignited. You mean syndicate? I hissed. Wind whipping. I know about the fund. You're cut from the widow's pensions. His face twisted. Hand twitching toward a pocket. Knife, bluff, tension electric as the yacht rocked. Walk away.
Zoe.
Or Sarah's camp gets a visitor. The threat snapped something. I lunged, not violence, but revelation, yanking my phone, hitting record. Admit it.
Beak.
The elevator. The frames, all you. He laughed, then faltered as flashes popped. Paparazzi?
No.
My planted ally. A journal stringer. Smile. Asshole. He bolted. But security, my call, nailed him. Feds waiting at the dock. Twist. His phone yielded text to Derek in lockup. Finish Hargrove. The noose tightened. November chill settled as trials converged. Victor plea bargained. Spilling on the network, a dozen firms entangled.
Me?
Congressional testimony. Lights hot. Senators grilling. MS. Hargrove. Your methods ethical? Results are.
Senator.
Ends justify when starts are corrupt. Controversial soundbite. Looped on CNN. Sarah home for Thanksgiving. Turkey golden. Stories flowing. Mom. You're famous. Fame's double-edged. Admirers and stalkers. One letter. Postmarked Caymans. You took everything. Now I take yours. Derek. Plotting from inside. December loomed. Holidays mocking with cheer. Biogenics soared. Stock popping 40%. But the buried secret resurfaced. Marcus's hiccup? A patient death. Hushed. FDA knocking. My decision. Go public. Absorb the hit. Transparency or bust, I told him. Stock dipped. But trust surged, clients flocking. New Year's Eve. Sarah and I on the balcony. Fireworks bursting over the lake. To second chances, I toasted with sparkling cider. She hugged tight. Love you, Mom. The burn eased. But vigilance lingered. Revenge wasn't done, it evolved. 2006 dawned with a vengeance. The kind that creeps like fog off Lake Michigan. Thick and unrelenting. My empire teetered on the biogenics high. But cracks spiderweb beneath. Victor's syndicate wasn't a loose thread. It was a noose. Cinching tighter with every loose-lipped plea deal. I woke in my king bed. Sarah's laughter drifting from the kitchen where she flipped pancakes for her sleepover crew, 11 now. All legs and attitude.
Mom.
Burn edges, your specialty. I grinned. But my phone buzzed. SEC subpoena. Biogenics data dump demanded. The ghosts weren't buried. They were exhumed. CEO life was a pressure cooker. Dawn meetings. Midnight calls. The firm's pulse under my thumb, but erratic. I'd poached talent. Trish as OO. A quant was named Raj for CFO, rebuilding Sterling and Knox into Hargrove Holdings, rebranded sleek. But the controversy clung like cheap perfume, op-eds decrying my autocratic style, whispers of sexism flipped to reverse discrimination when I mentored women aggressively. Zoe's army, they joked. I owned it. The subpoena hit like a gut punch. Marcus in my office via video, grainy. His Boston loft backdrop cluttered with white bards. Zoe. It's the old trial. We disclosed. Not enough. I cut in. Pacing. Full audit.
Now. His jaw tightened.
This tanks us. Controversial call. Force, transparency. Risk implosion. Or cover. No, the lie would echo Harlan's. Truth, or I pull funding. He caved. But resentment simmered. Sarah's school conference that week. Her teacher, S. Patel, beaming. Zoe's a leader, debate club star. Pride swelled. But outside, a tail black SUV.
Tinted.
Mickey confirmed. Victor's crew. Low-level thugs from Bridgeport. Watching the kid? My blood iced. Double security. Home became fortress. Cameras. Guards. Sarah protesting.
Mom.
I'm not a princess in a tower. Derek's trial proper kicked off in March. Dirksen a zoo of suits and scribes. I took the stand again. Cross-exam under a shark named Kessler. MS. Hargrove. Isn't it true you provoked Mr. Voss with advances?
Gasps.
The gallery leaned in, Sarah. In the back with a sitter. Wide-eyed. Objection. Trish roared. But the seed planted. Me as seductress. Him victim. I locked eyes with Derek. His smirk a razor. Lies. Counsel. He courted my trust. Then my daughter's future. The courtroom hushed. Kessler faltered. Judge sustained. But damage lingered.
Post-testimony.
I bolted to the bathrooms. Splashing water. Breath ragged. Betrayal's depth. Not just career. But soul. The man who'd play dad to my girl. Emerging. A woman waited. Lila.
Gaunt.
Eyes hollow.
Zoe.
I was scared. Derek threatened me. Confession? Or trap? Why now? She thrust a USB. Proof. Meridian's ledgers, your name cleared. But others dirtier. I pocketed it, nodding to security. Later. Forensics, gold mine, Victor's kickbacks to senators. FDA moles. The secret unburied, a political machine. Chicago style. Greased by finance titans. Controversial decision. Leaked to ProPublica. Not feds. Let journalists gut it. Shield my hands. By April. Exposés dropped. The Shadow Syndicate. How Wall Street bought Washington. Stocks tanked across the board. My holdings? Spiked. The clean firm. But pushback bit. Biogenics audit revealed the death. Trial volunteer. Arrhythmia masked as unrelated. FDA froze assets. Marcus called. Frantic. Zoe. Sue them, stall.
No.
Own it. Compensation fund. Public apology. He raged. You're killing my dream. Saving your ass, I countered. Stock plummeted 60%. But headline shifted. Hargrove's gambit. Ethics over empire. Investors returned. Wary respect. Sarah's spring break was escape. Road trip to Door County. Cherry blossoms and kayaks. Mom. Tell me about Dad. The ghost. He left before you could walk. But we're Team Hargrove, unbreakable. She nodded. Skipping stones. That night. Campfire crackling. My burner rang. Back off the leaks. Or the girl swims with fishes. Victor's gravel voice. I traced it. Burner in Naperville. Try it, I whispered. And you drown first. May brought the counterstrike. Using Lila's ledgers. I greenlit a shareholder suit against Meridian, class action. Billions at stake. Victor countersued. Defamation. Claiming I fabricated. Depositions in a sterile Evanston office. His lawyer sneering. MS. Hargrove. Your revenge motive, petty. I leaned in. Justice isn't petty. Counsel. Theft is. The room crackled. Reporters outside salivated. Meanwhile, Derek's defense unraveled. His cellmate flipped. Tapes of boasts. Zoe's fall? My masterpiece. Sentencing loomed. Life. Maybe. But twist. A letter smuggled out.
To me.
Zoe. It was Harlan's idea. Forgive? For Sarah's sake. Bullshit. Burned it in the sink. Flames dancing like my fury. Biogenics clawed back. Relaunched trials. My infusion propping. Marcus at the June presser. Humbled. Thanks to Zoe's integrity. Cameras flashed. I smiled. But inside. Tension coiled. The syndicate's reach. A brick through my window that night. Note tied. Eyes everywhere. Sarah found it. Screaming. Police report. Heightened guards.
Mom.
Why us?
Tears.
I held her. Bad people. Bug. But we fight smart. Controversial parenting. Truth over sugarcoat. She nodded.
Fierce.
Like you. Summer scorched. Deals drying up as scandals chill lingered. I pivoted. Green investments. Solar startups in the Southwest. Pitched to VCs in Austin, barbecue and bold visions. Landed
80,000 pesos.
But Victor struck. IRS audit on Hargrove Holdings. Anomalies in my comp. Retaliation.
Pure.
I lawyered up. Countersuing for harassment. The climax brewed at the annual finance gala. McCormick Place glittering. Sarah in a thrift store gown. Beaming.
Mom.
You shine. We mingled senators. Moguls. Then Victor. Tux crisp. approaching with a flute. Truce.
Zoe?
For old Chicago. His eyes cold steel. Old sins die hard. Vic. He leaned. Breath Scotch sour. Your kid's cute. Shame if. The threat hung. I signaled security, but he slipped away. Heart pounding. I pulled Sarah close. Scanning shadows. Midnight toast. Mayor on stage. To innovators like Zoe Hargrove. Applause thundered. But as confetti fell, my phone lit, Mickey. Victor's heading to your car. With a can. Gasoline? Arson. I evacuated Sarah. Cab to a hotel. Sirens wailed later. My Escalade torched. Flames licking the night. Feds swarmed Victor's estate by dawn. He bolted. Cayman bound. Manhunt headlines. Syndicate king on the run. August heat broke with storms. Mirroring my storm. Derek sentenced. 35 years.
No parole.
Courtroom glare his last. You win, Zoe. No, justice does. Biogenics rebounded. FDA nod in September. Stock tripled. Marcus sent flowers. OU. Sarah's school year started strong. Soccer tryouts. Goals scored. But Victor's shadow loomed. Interpol alerts. But whispers. Heat surfaced in Miami. Yacht life. My decision. Go rogue. Hired a fixer. Ex-CIA. Discreet. Find him. No touch. Controversial? Extra-legal edges. But for Sarah. October foliage blazed as we visited Graham's in Milwaukee. My mom. Frail but feisty. Proud. Baby girl. But careful. Power eats souls. Wisdom stuck. November elections. My leaks toppled 2 senators. Indictments rolling. Victor's network crumbled. Arrests weekly. But the call came Thanksgiving Eve. Fixer's voice.
Low.
He's cornered. Panama. Your move. Fly or fold. I flew solo. Red-eye to Panama City. Humidity slapping like judgment. Hotel bar. Nursing rum. Fixer met. Yacht club. Tomorrow. Alone.
No.
Wire me in. Dawn raid. Panama PD. My tip anonymous. Victor cuffed on deck. Sputtering.
Zoe?
You bitch. Flashbulbs popped. Extradition swift. Twist. His phone. Unlocked. Text to a ghost. Sarah's father reaches out.
What?
Forged.
Or. No.
Deadbeat gone. But doubt seated. Back in Chicago. Snow falling. Sarah's recital. Piano keys dancing.
Mom.
You came from far? For you. Always. The burn eased. But secrets lingered. Winter 2006 gripped Chicago like a vice. Ice storm sheathing the loop in crystalline armor. Mirroring the frost in my veins. Victor's extradition was a spectacle. FBI chopper touching down at O'Hare. Him in orange. Snarling for cameras. Frame job. Hargrove's witch hunt. The Trib ate it up. Front page with my photo. The queen of comeuppance. Sarah clipped it for her scrapbook. Giggling. Mom's a superhero. If only she knew the cape hid thorns. Hargrove Holdings hummed. Biogenics integrations seamless. Quarterly earnings up 25%. Raj crunched numbers in boardrooms. His Indian lilt soothing. Diversification. Zoe, your call. I nodded, but focus frayed. The syndicate's tendrils? Snipped, but roots deep. Lila resurfaced. Contrite email. Help me testify against Victor? I met her at a Loop Starbucks. steam rising like unspoken sins. Why trust you? She slid photos, her bruises, Derek's handiwork. Survival. Like you. Ally forged. Controversial. Bedfellows with the enemy's ex. Sarah turned 12 in January 2007. Roller rink party with neon lights and awkward boys. I chaperoned, laughing at her spins. But my phone vibrated. Unknown. Family reunion soon.
Chill.
Victor's doing. From Cook County Jail. I upped security, bodyguard for her school runs. A bear named Gus.
Mom.
This is embarrassing. Safety's not optional. Bug. The trial mashup, Victor. Derek's appeals intertwined. Hit February. A legal Frankenstein. I consulted with prosecutors. Feeding Lila's intel. Meridian slush fund. $50 mill laundered through Chicago charities. Ironclad. The DA grinned. But controversy brewed. Victor's team subpoenaed Sarah. Witness to instability. Outrage. My motion quashed it. But headline screamed, CEO's daughter in crossfire? Protests outside court. Feminists rallying. Protect kids from corporate wars. Inside. Testimony dragged. Lila took the stand. Voice quavering. Derek beat me when I questioned the elevator plan. Zoe saved me, exposed it. Jury leaned. Derek's lawyer objected. Hearsay. Sustained. But sympathy shifted. Victor's turn. Silver-tongued. Blaming rogue elements. Then me. Under oath. This isn't personal. It's pattern. Betrayal for profit. His eyes bored. You crave it.
Zoe.
Power's your drug. Cross-seared. MS. Hargrove. Your extra-legal investigations. Vigilantism? I held steady. Due diligence. Counsel. When systems fail, you build your own. Gasps. Judge warned. But point landed, me as maverick. Flaws and all. Post-day. Bar at the Palmer House. Scotch neat. Trish joined. Suit rumpled. You slayed.
Boss.
But Victor's got a mole inside the DA. Lee confirmed. Case files vanishing. My fixer? Activated again. Tracing to a clerk on Victor's payroll. Anonymous tip to IA. Clerk arrested. Files recovered. Controversial? Bending rules. But justice's grease. Spring thawed the city. But tension peaked at Biogenics's shareholder meet in April. Boston Symphony Hall packed. Marcus keynote. Slides gleaming. Breakthroughs. Thanks to Hargrove's backbone. Q&A turned ugly. MS. Hargrove. Your transparency. PR stunt or sincere? I stood. Sincere costs. But lies bankrupt. Applause mixed with jeers. Stock held. Sarah's bat mitzvah no.
Wait.
We weren't Jewish. But her coming-of-age party. DIY at the zoo. Giraffes looming. She recited a poem on strength. Voice cracking. Like mom falls, but rises. Tears stung. Pride swelled. That night. Her room. Whispers. Scared of the bad men? Not with you fighting beside me. May brought the hammer. Victor's flip. Plea deal. Naming names a governor. 3 congressmen. Indictments reigned. Chicago's machine shuddered. Derek. Linked. Face superseding charges, conspiracy to murder. Upped to life. His appeal tanked. Solitary his new home. But the antagonist's shadow mutated. Mickey's report, a new player, Elena Vasquez. Exiled but scheming from Milwaukee. funneling syndicate remnants via a consulting firm. Her secret? The buried crime I'd suffered. Not just frames, but identity theft. In my first life, she'd swiped my SSN for ghost accounts, pinning debts on me pre-fall. This timeline? She'd tried early. 2005 foiled by my hacks. I drove north.
Solo.
To her lakeside condo. Windswept. Waves crashing. Buzzer. Zoe, come to gloat. Her accent curled like smoke. Inside. Tchotchkes and tension.
Elena.
The game's over. Testify. Or join them. She poured wine. Red as regret. You think you're clean? Biogenic's death. Your call buried it.
Touché.
We owned it. Your thefts? Coward's play. Ours blurred. Confession over vino. Harlan promised equity. I needed it for my brother's MS. Desperation. Again. Sympathy flickered. But no quarter. Feds wait. Your choice. She caved.
Deal inked by dawn.
Controversial mercy? Or strategy? Turning the shark. June heat wave as Elena's testimony gutted the remnants. Arrests in Miami. London. Victor. Raging in court. Traitor. Cuffed.
Dragged.
Twist. Her files yielded my death blueprint, not elevator. But a car brake tamper. Alternate plan. Chills. How close? Summer idol. Sarah at camp. Me in the Hamptons. Deal closing on beaches. Biogenics FDA full approval. Parade in Boston. Confetti and cheers. Marcus hugged. Partner for life. But whispers. Competitors circling. Meridian's husk sold cheap. Back. August storm. Lightning cracking as Gus reported a tail on Sarah's bus. Thwarted. Runner for Elena's old crew. Caught. Interrogation. Victor's orders from inside. Jail plotting. My decision. Visit him. Cook County. Plexiglass thick. He leaned.
Gaunt. Zoe.
See me broken. Savoring it. His laugh hollow. Sarah's letters. I wrote as Uncle D. She responded. Before.
Lie. Or.
My gut twisted. Stay away. But doubt seated. Had I robbed her of closure? September markets boomed. My net worth crested $200 mill. Controversial splurge. Foundation for single moms. South Side roots. Launch gala. Oprah cameo. Spotlight blinding.
Sarah emceed.
Poise electric. Mom taught me. Rise or rebuild. October climax. Final syndicate hearing. Capitol Hill. I testified. Senators rapped. This web stole futures mine. Families. Victor. Extradited for perjury. Chained in corner. His glare. Pure venom. Post. In the hall. He lunged. Guards piled. But his spit. Your end's coming. Which? November chill. Elections cleansed. Clean suits swept in. Elena relocated witness protection. Last nod. Thanks.
Zoe.
Oh, you. Debts paid? Sarah's Thanksgiving drawing. Us as warriors. Swords of light. Against dragons.
Mom. Yes.
But December Eve. Twist detonated. Package at door. Sarah's locket. Gift from me. Engraved forever. Inside. Note. She's mine now. Kidnapped? No, hoax. Victor's last gasp from Supermax. Feds confirmed. But terror lingered. New Year's. Fireworks over the river. Sarah safe. To endings, I toasted.
But revenge?
It echoed. Unresolved. 2007 closed with a whimper, snow blanketing the city in false peace. But 2008 roared in like a bear market, financial crisis crashing waves. Lehman's fall rippling to my doorstep. Hargrove Holdings braced. Layoffs merciful but brutal. 20% staff cut. Me in the trenches, with pink slips. Necessary evil, Raj murmured. Spreadsheets bleeding red. Sarah, 13. Overheard. Mom. You firing friends. Eyes accusatory. Saving the rest. Bug. Hard choices. She hugged, but the fracture ached, my war's collateral on her innocence. Victor's supermax isolation bred silence, no more threats. Derek? Appeal denied. Appeals court slamming meritless. Elena vanished into Witsec. A ghost letter. Peace found. Grateful. The syndicate? Dismantled. Assets seized, my cut to the foundation. Scholarships blooming in the projects. Biogenics? Star ascended. Alzheimer's trials phase 3. Marcus on Forbes cover. Hargrove's maverick. But the buried secret clawed back. My first death's echo. Nightmares, elevator freefall. Sarah's testimony, Mom was always gone. Therapy started.
Discreet, Dr.
Lena.
South Loop office.
Freudian couch. Zoe. Revenge healed or haunted. Both, I admitted. Sessions unearthed. Not just betrayal, but self-ambition starving family. First life's neglect real. Rebirth's gift? Fix it. Sarah's winter formal. I curled her hair. Dress from Macy's. Teal silk. Dad would love this, she mused.
Bum.
Maybe. But I'm here. Dance chaperoned. Her waltzing with a pimply crush.
Pride.
Laced with loss. Crisis deepened. Clients bolting.
TARP talks in D.C.
I lobbied. Heels clicking marble halls. Bailouts for Main Street. Not just wall.
Senators Nadith, 50,000 pesos infusión.
Strings ethical. Controversial? Socialist Zoe. Fox sneered. Owned it. Ratings spiked. Ironically. Spring 2008. Biogenics IPO. Nasdaq bell rung by me and Marcus. Confetti chaos. Stock soared 80%. My stake ballooning. We did it, he grinned. Hugging. But his eyes, ambitions glint. Trust test. Board seat offered.
Earn it, I said.
He nodded. But watch set. Sarah's track meets. I cheered from bleachers. Coffee cold. Work emails pinging. One race. She tripped, mud-caked.
Tears.
Failed. Fell forward.
Kid.
Get up. She did. Medal next meet. Lessons layered. Summer scandal. Old crony. Meridian holdout. Sued for unfair purge. Discovery unearthed my fixer's traces. Illegal surveillance. Leaked to Bloomberg. Hargrove's dark ops. Stock dipped 15%. Board panicked. Resign. Harlan's ghost whispered.
No.
Presser. Mistakes made. But ends? Just. Hired ethics firm. Reforms rolled. Transparency dashboards public. Victor's suicide hit August. Hanging in cell. Note, Zoe wins. Staged. Autopsy suicide. But doubt. Relief tainted guilt. Had my pursuit pushed?
Dr.
Lena. Vengeance's cost. Paid in full. Fall foliage as Sarah turned 14. Escape to Yellowstone. Geysers steaming.
Mom.
Why fight so hard? Stars overhead. fire crackling.
For you.
To break cycles. She squeezed hand. Broke yours? October crash-bottomed. My bets green tech. Renewables greenlit recovery. Holdings up 30% by November. Me on CNBC. Pivot or perish. Icon status. But lonely dates dodged. Suitors scared of Iron Lady. Thanksgiving. Grams visited. Frail in wheelchair. Retire soon.
Zoe.
Live. Seed planted. Sarah's pie. Lopsided lattice. Laughter healed. December twist. Letter from Derek. Parole board mercy plea. Reformed. For the girl I never hurt.
Bull.
I testified virtual. Monster unchanged.
Denied.
But his words. Sarah asked about me once. Lie? Or my paranoia? New Year's 2009. Gala at the Art Institute. Sarah in sequins. Toasting fresh starts. Biogenics breakthrough announced. Drug efficacy 70%. Marcus. Your vision. But email later. Side project, off books. Join. Temptation. Declined. Clean or collapse. Years blurred. 2010's a whirlwind. Sarah college bound. Stanford on scholarship. Poli-sci major. Like you. Mom, fighter. Empty nest hit. Brownstone echoed. Foundation, my focus. Single moms mentored. Retirement loomed 2015. 55 as planned. Yacht and keys. But first, closure. Visited Derek's prison. Plexiglass eternal.
Gaunt. Gray. Zoe.
Sorry, crocodile. Too late. Walked out.
Free.
Sarah's wedding 2018, tech whiz. Kind eyes. Vows under oaks. To unbreakable bonds. I teared. Dancing father-daughter sans dad. 2025 now. Rocking chair on porch overlooking the lake. Memoirs ghosted. Betrayals?
Dust.
Secrets? Published. Bestseller. Controversial legacy. Hero or villain?
Both.
Sarah visits. Grandbaby on hip. Grandma Zoe. Tell the story. I smile. Starting. Once. I died on a Tuesday. Reborn. Revenged. Redeemed. Empire mine, not glass. But legacy. Took it all back. Monday by Monday. And it was enough.